If you have ever looked at a pile of old jeans and thought they were only good for the donation bin, you are about to change your mind completely. Today, I am going to show you 12 incredible projects that combine ordinary denim with epoxy resin to create pieces so stunning your friends will not believe you made them yourself. After 3 decades of working with my hands and experimenting with all kinds of materials, I can tell you that denim and epoxy together is one of the most underrated combinations in the DIY world. We are covering everything from furniture to gifts to wall art, and when we get to number 8, the denim epoxy knife handle, you are going to see something that genuinely blew my mind. Plus, stick around for a bonus tip at the end that will save you from the biggest mistake people make when embedding fabric in resin. The first project on our list is the Denim and Epoxy River Table, and honestly, this one is the showstopper. You have probably seen river tables made with colored resin, but imagine replacing that solid pigment with strips and layers of real denim running through the channel. The texture you get is absolutely unlike anything else. To pull this off, you start with 2 live edge wood slabs. Walnut and cherry work beautifully here because their warm tones contrast with the blue denim. Cut your old jeans into strips of varying widths, roughly 1 inch to 3 inches wide. Lay them into the river channel between the slabs, folding and layering them so you get depth and dimension. Then you do a slow epoxy pour, working in layers no thicker than about 1/4 inch at a time. This prevents excessive heat buildup that could discolor the denim. A clear epoxy lets the denim texture shine through, but you can also add a touch of blue or white pigment to the resin for a more blended look. Once fully cured over 48 to 72 hours, sand it up through the grits to about 800 and finish with a polishing compound. The result is a functional dining or coffee table with a river of denim that catches light in the most beautiful way. The second project is denim epoxy coasters, and this is the perfect starting point if you have never worked with epoxy before. Grab a set of silicone coaster molds, which you can find for around $10 to $15. Cut small pieces of denim, including sections with seams, pockets, and even those little leather brand patches. Arrange them in the bottom of the mold, then pour clear epoxy over the top. The denim darkens slightly when the resin soaks in, which actually deepens the blue and gives it a rich, almost vintage look. Let them cure for 24 hours, pop them out, and you have got a set of coasters that are completely waterproof, incredibly durable, and guaranteed to start conversations. You can make a full set of 6 in under an hour of active work time. The third project we need to talk about is the denim inlay cutting board. This one takes a classic woodworking project and gives it a twist nobody sees coming. Start with a standard edge grain cutting board made from maple or walnut. Route a shallow channel about 3/16 of an inch deep in a decorative pattern across the surface. It could be a simple stripe, a chevron, or even your initials. Press thin denim strips into the channel and fill with food-safe epoxy. Now, I want to be clear here. The denim inlay sections become purely decorative once sealed under the cured resin. You would use the surrounding wood surface for actual cutting. The contrast between the warm hardwood and the blue denim inlay is striking, and it makes an unforgettable handmade gift. Now, if you are finding this video helpful so far, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps this video reach more woodworkers like yourself who would also find this information helpful. All right, let us continue. The fourth project is the denim-wrapped epoxy tumbler, and if you have ever made a custom tumbler before, this technique will take your game to a whole new level. Start with a plain stainless steel tumbler. Cut a piece of denim to wrap around it snugly and use a thin layer of epoxy as both the adhesive and the first seal coat. Smooth it on with a gloved hand, rotating the tumbler on a turner or a slow rotisserie style setup if you have one. Once that first coat tacks up, apply a second and third coat of clear epoxy, letting each one partially cure in between. The finished tumbler has a rugged, textured feel under a glass-smooth surface. You can use sections with stitching, belt loops, or even back pockets for a playful look. These make incredible personalized gifts, especially if you use denim from a meaningful pair of jeans, maybe a loved one's favorite old pair. The fifth project on our list is the Denim Epoxy serving tray, and this one is as practical as it is beautiful. Build a simple rectangular tray frame from any hardwood you like. Oak and maple both work well. The frame only needs to be about 1.5 inches deep. Cut your denim into a patchwork pattern and lay the pieces flat inside the tray, overlapping edges slightly so no bare wood peeks through underneath. Mix up a batch of clear epoxy and pour it slowly over the entire denim surface until it self-levels to about 1/4 inch deep. The epoxy seals everything into a perfectly smooth, waterproof surface. Once cured, you have got a serving tray that looks like a piece of art. The different shades of denim, from dark indigo to faded blue, create a mosaic effect under the glossy resin that catches everyone's eye. The sixth project is denim and epoxy jewelry, and do not let the small scale fool you because these pieces get a huge reaction. Pick up a pack of pendant bezels or ring blanks from any craft supplier. Cut tiny pieces of denim just small enough to fit inside the bezel. You can use sections with interesting textures like seams, stitching, or worn spots. Fill the bezel with UV resin or a small amount of mixed epoxy, press the denim piece in, and top it off with another thin layer of resin. UV resin is especially convenient here because it cures in just a few minutes under a UV lamp. You can make a dozen pendants in a single afternoon, and they are fantastic sellers at craft fairs or perfect as stocking stuffers. The denim under clear resin has a depth and warmth that people find really appealing. The seventh project we are tackling is the Denim Epoxy Wall Art Panel, and this is where your creativity can truly run wild. Start with a piece of 3/4 inch plywood cut to whatever size you want. A 2-foot by 3-foot panel makes a strong statement. Arrange torn and cut denim pieces across the surface in an abstract pattern, layering different shades and textures. Some people arrange them in an ombre fade from dark to light. Others create geometric patterns. Once your layout is set, pour tinted epoxy over the entire surface. A slightly smoky or translucent white tint adds incredible depth. Use a heat gun briefly to pop any surface bubbles, then let it cure on a dead-level surface for at least 48 hours. The finished panel looks like it belongs in a gallery. Hang it with a French cleat for a secure flush mount on the wall. The eighth project is the denim epoxy knife handle, and I have to tell you, this one completely changed the way I think about handle materials. The technique involves taking strips of denim, soaking them in epoxy resin, stacking them tightly, then clamping them under heavy pressure and letting the whole block cure. What you end up with is a solid, dense block of stabilized denim that you can shape on a belt sander, bandsaw, or lathe just like you would shape wood. The layers of denim create a pattern that looks almost like a cross between wood grain and layered leather. It is incredibly strong, completely waterproof, and feels wonderful in the hand. Shape it to fit a full tang knife blank. Drill your pinholes and epoxy the scales in place. The finished knife handle is not only beautiful, but legitimately tough enough for daily kitchen use. This is the kind of project that makes people do a double take when you tell them what it is made of. The ninth project on our list is Denim Epoxy Tabletop Restoration, and this one solves a real problem many of us have. If you have got an old table with a damaged, stained, or worn-out top, this technique lets you completely transform it without building anything from scratch. Sand the existing top down to clean bare wood. Arrange denim pieces across the surface in whatever pattern appeals to you. A collage of different washes and textures works wonderfully. Then pour bar top epoxy over the entire surface in thin layers, building up to about 1/8 of an inch total thickness. Bar top epoxy is formulated to self-level beautifully on large flat surfaces, which is exactly what you need. Here, 2 to 3 coats with proper cure time between each gives you a rock-solid, glass-smooth surface that protects both the denim and the wood underneath. It is the ultimate upcycling project, saving both old furniture and old jeans in one shot. The 10th project is Denim Epoxy Bookends, and this is one of the simplest builds on the entire list. Cut 2 L-shaped blocks from any scrap hardwood. Each piece only needs to be about 5 inches tall and 4 inches deep. Root or chisel a shallow pocket on the visible face of each bookend, roughly 1/8 of an inch deep. Press a piece of denim into the pocket, trimming it to fit neatly. Fill over the denim with clear epoxy and let it cure. The result is a handsome pair of bookends with denim accents sealed permanently under crystal clear resin. They are heavy enough to hold books, they look fantastic on a shelf, and you can make a pair in a single evening. Use contrasting denim shades on each bookend for a matched but not identical set. The 11th project is the Denim Epoxy clock face, and this one turns a simple wall clock into a genuine piece of functional art. Start with a round wood blank, anywhere from 8 to 12 inches in diameter. Sand it smooth and lay a single piece of denim across the face, wrapping it around the edges and gluing it down on the back. Pour a thin layer of clear epoxy over the front surface and let it cure completely flat. Once hardened, drill a center hole for the clock mechanism shaft. Install the movement from behind and attach the clock hands on the front. The denim behind that layer of glossy epoxy creates an incredible depth effect, almost like the face is floating. You can mark hour positions with small brass tacks or simply leave it clean for a minimalist look. The whole build takes a couple of hours plus cure time. The 12th and final project is the Denim Epoxy phone or tablet stand, and it is a quick weekend build with everyday practicality. Cut 2 small pieces of hardwood, one for the base and one for the angled backrest. The base should be about 4 inches by 6 inches, and the backrest about 3 inches by 5 inches. Root a shallow groove in the base to cradle the bottom edge of your device. Cut a piece of denim to cover the backrest face, then seal it with a thin coat of clear epoxy. Attach the backrest to the base at roughly a 75-degree angle using wood glue and a couple of screws from behind. The denim surface provides just enough grip to keep your phone or tablet from sliding, and the epoxy makes it durable and easy to clean. It is a small project, but something you will actually use every single day. And now for the bonus tip that professional resin artists swear by. The single biggest mistake people make when embedding denim or any fabric in epoxy is trapping air. Denim is woven, which means it is full of tiny air pockets between the threads. When you pour epoxy over it, those pockets slowly release bubbles that rise to the surface and can ruin your finish. Here is the fix. Before you pour your main coat, brush a thin seal coat of mixed epoxy directly into the denim using a disposable brush. Really work it into the fibers, pressing it in and letting the resin saturate the weave completely. Let this seal coat get tacky, usually about 2 to 4 hours depending on your resin and shop temperature. Then do your full pour over the top. That seal coat fills all the tiny air pockets first, so when your main pour goes on, you get a virtually bubble-free result every single time. This one simple step is the difference between a project that looks amateur and one that looks absolutely flawless. Thanks for sticking with me through the entire video. If you found this helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more DIY woodworking tips, and check out our other videos.